Hello again. Our final 3 videos this week are still on measure, but we are going to be splitting them into 3 sort of short videos over the next couple of days. So we're looking at length, we're looking at height, and we're looking at distance, okay? So we're just going to do some quick videos to think about how we can look at those different types of measuring. So today's focus is going to be length. Now, there is a kind of tendency with children to use just the words big and small. So what we really want to do is start getting down into a bit more specific mathematical vocabulary. So when we're looking at length, we don't want them to say this one is bigger, this one is smaller. We want them to say this one is longer and this one is shorter. Okay, so long and short as opposed to just big and small, which could apply to anything. So you might use something as simple as 2 pencils to start off with. Very quickly, the children should be able to see that this one is longer and this one is shorter. But actually, when we get down to the nitty-gritty of comparing length, we want to explain to the children that it's really important that the ends of the pencils start at the same point. So I might put them on the edge of the table here, so I can very clearly see that the nib of this pencil is longer, it comes longer across the table than the nib of that pencil, okay? Because if then we start doing things like this, then there's a bit of confusion. So whenever we're making a comparison, we have to start our object in the same place. You could also then, once they've got that concept, and they're starting to use the vocabulary quite confidently, we want to start moving on to more objects. So I've just made some blue tack snakes here, or blue tack worms, whatever you want to say. And we can then start ordering by size and by length. So we could say this one is the longest, this one is a little bit shorter, but this one is the shortest. So what I'm doing is I'm interchanging there between long and short, longest, shortest, shorter, longer. Okay, so making that real comparison. But once again, I've made sure I've put the ends of each object at the same point, so we can really see clearly the difference in length. Okay, so kind of moving on from just looking at the vocabulary of long, short, longest, shortest, you might then start looking at how you measure length. And at this age and at this point, we're looking at using what we call non-standard units of measurement. So your standard units of measurements are your centimetres, your metres, your inches, or whatever it is you want to use. But non-standard units of measurements are using objects that are the same, but that are not necessarily a recognised unit of measurement. So for example, if I've got toilet rolls that are all the same size, I could then use those and say my piece of paper is 1, 2, 3 toilet rolls long. That was handy, I wasn't really expecting that to happen, but 3 toilet rolls long. I might say, I wonder how many toilet rolls it would be to measure the whole table. You've got to save up your toilet rolls for that one. Another good one is if you've got blocks or cubes at home, that's a really good one because these are all nice and easy to clip together and you can really see clearly. So if I was measuring this piece of paper again, I would make sure, again, talk to your children about making sure that the end of their unit of measurement is at the end of the piece of paper, and then they would keep adding on their cubes to see how many cubes long the piece of paper is, the length of the piece of paper is. Let me just get there. I don't want a triangle one. Nearly there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I reckon we could probably fit one more on there. Yeah, perfect. 15 cubes long. My piece of paper is 15 cubes long. The other thing you can start doing is actually recording your measurements. So you might take your piece of paper and write on it 15 cubes. You could have a shorter piece of paper. Could you go and make me a shorter piece of paper that's shorter than 15 cubes? Could you go and cut me a piece of paper that is exactly 5 cubes long? So there's whole sorts of different things that you can go out there and challenge your child a little bit further by giving them little quests to go on. Can you find something that is as long as a piece of paper, something else that is 15 cubes long? So there's lots of different ways that you can investigate length. But again, it's important to get that specific mathematical vocabulary. We're not just talking about this is a big piece of paper, this is a small piece of paper. We're talking about this is a long piece of paper, this is a short piece of paper. Get out there, use that vocabulary as much as you can when you're out and about, and hopefully the more you use it, the more your child will become familiar with it and the concept will be really ingrained in their heads. Okay, have fun, bye.